Okay, so it's that time of year again, and I'm using this video mainly as a filler between now and next month, which is late August, where I'll be doing the Dawn to Dusk 12-hour marathon race. The bike is currently unserviceable. About 2 weeks ago I had a race with Core Events down at Exeter in Ashcombe, and I came fourth in the clubman somehow. It was a fairly tough race, 3 hours, and I ended up with 2 punctures. See if I can find it. This one, the rear, thankfully only just punctured the tyre with a tubeless system, which is there. Unfortunately, as you can see, the front punctured both. Well, I don't know about the tyre, I haven't been able to find one, a hole, but I did puncture the tubeless inner, which looks like this. Goes underneath this bit. I can't find the tube that actually punctured. Where is it? Oh, here. Yeah, so I've punctured 2 now, which is really annoying. Don't know if I can. Let me just need to find where the hole is exactly. So this is the tubeless inner. It's quite thick rubber, except I've now had 2 fail in exactly the same way. You might be able to tell. But there seems to be a line that runs along these tubes, and at some point it splits. Yeah, so yeah, this one let go during the race, and this one, oh yeah, I don't know, this one's let go in exactly the same way somewhere, and that one let go whilst I was checking the tyre pressures, which was annoying. Anyway, I managed to finish the race with 2 flat tyres and a bent handlebar. That was really annoying, that handlebar. As soon as you try to hang off the back of the bars, the bike would go off to the left, which made going up hills really difficult sometimes. Anyway, there's other things I need to do before the race at the end of the month. Next month, sorry. I need to change the gearing, the corset. Where is it? Oh, I have to figure out where the race is in Wales. But it's near Brecon Beacons. The course is mostly, not mostly, has a lot of fire roads, and this is, I think it's the stock gearing. In any case, it's 13 at the front, 13 teeth at the front, 50 at the rear. I think last year I had 49, and I was sometimes looking for a 6th gear, which this bike does not have. So I'm thinking of either going up to a 14 tooth on the front, which would increase the gear ratio from, I think it's a 3.5 to 1, and increase it by 7%. And if I was to drop to at the rear to a 48 tooth, I'd increase the gear ratio by 4%-ish. I'm not sure which one I'm going to do. It's cheaper to do the front at 10er, the rear at 30. Oh, ignore that, that's an old battle scar. What else do I need to do on this bike? I'm contemplating changing these pegs and the pins. The pins are absolutely worn out, and the internals of the pegs are worn out as well. And these are just, I've sharpened them once before, a titanium, but the problem with these is that they're not level. They've worn out so much that they go like, oh, it's hard to show, instead of being like that, level, they're more like that, and then your foot just slides off the side in difficult spots, and it's quite annoying. I also need to change the air filter with a clean one, so I need to clean and oil that one. I need to replace this clutch lever because the bushing's completely worn out, and if you can see, it's probably easier this side. It's all over the place. That's up and down, not backwards and forwards. And it's missing the boot. At last year's Dawn to Dusk, I lost the boot, mud got into the cable, and the cable was pretty much locked up for 4 hours. So I had to shift mostly clutchless, which wasn't fun. So I'm going to change this lever, the cable, and also, well, you can't see it now, the clutch plates, friction, steels, and also the springs, because I've only ever changed the frictions and the steels are flogged. What else do I need to do? Oh. This caliper I need to rebuild. The quality or the feel is all over the place, and also at some point I tore the end of the boot covering the pin. I don't really want to get that packed full of grit, Welsh grit. The pads, they'll last. Let's go. Yeah, there's plenty of meat on them. They'll last the race. And those are sintered pads. However, there's always a however. This rotor is quite old. I think it's almost 2.5 years old now. And it should be 2.5 mil, or roughly 100 thou thick, or at least the minimum thickness is 100 thou. However, this one's only 80 thou. I don't know. To replace it is about £80. I think I'm just going to wing it with that one, because if I replace that, I'm definitely going to have to replace the pad, which I don't want to do. I've checked the bearings, they're fine. I did order some spare Koyos. They turned out to be fake, so I sent them back. The rear. At the moment I've got some carbon graphites, and there's some meat left on them. The rotor's fine, but the pads I don't trust with grit. I've had too many occasions where I've ended up with steel on steel, so I'm going to get some sintered pads for the rear. Chain's fine. It's only about 12 hours old, and it's a X-ring chain. It's quite a noticeable difference, at least in the hand. There's very little friction compared to an O-ring.
This chain slider barely has any life on it, and it's almost worn right through, which is really disappointing. So I'm going to have to get a new one of those. The rear shock, yeah, this needs replacing. The spring, let's have a look. Yeah, 4.9. Is that 4.9? Yeah, 49 newtons per meter. 49 newtons per millimeter eye-back spring, which was okay for me 2 years ago. But now I'm about 20 pounds heavier, so I need a heavier spring and get this shock. Get that away. Get that shock rebuilt because it blew all its oil over a year ago. And get it revalved for enduro. Neither of the shocks are set up for enduro. Both motocross setup. So I'm going to send this one off to, where is it? Something Technical Solutions, which is in Bristol. They did my forks and that made loads of difference. That bit was only just a bushing centre. I've changed the bearing in here for a bushing. So many times I've gone through bearings within hours. They just don't last, and they're completely the wrong solution for this. It barely moves, yeah, like that. So the grease doesn't get redistributed and just gets pounded out of the rollers and just ruins the centres within hours. Doesn't matter if it's OEM or all balls or some crappy generic brand, Chinese generic brand. They just die. Doesn't matter about the other ones. The other ones, the linkage bearings, they're fine as long as you keep them greased regularly with some waterproof grease. I'd much prefer if some of those were polymer bushings, but nobody makes them, and if I want to have them, I need a lathe. Buy some stock from, I think it's Iglis. Yeah, there's oil coming out of the shock. That's been there for ages. And that shock. What else do I need to do? Well, there's one thing I should do, which is have that barrel re-plated. About 10 hours ago I put a new piston because the previous one was about 150 hours old, and the barrel is quite worn. Not scored, just worn. I'm hoping the piston doesn't shatter during the race, because it wasn't a great fit. Will it focus? There we go. This needs replacing. I've got a spare. The sealant, the rubber seal, disappeared at some point in Wales rains. I don't want that shorting out and cutting out the engine randomly. Need to change the grips. I don't know what's, because of there's something odd about the way I ride. I ride quite thumb heavy and always wear the grips out there. Might be able to see it on this one too, that this one's worn out as well. Just on the thumbs. It's completely fine elsewhere. These are lock-ons, but lock-ons don't really fit on these bars. The bars are too wide. That one had Hummel on. These are Carmichael Bend Evos. So I'm going to have to lock wire these on. So for the next month there's not going to be a lot going on the channel. I'm not riding or racing, but I should have some other videos come up of this old beast with its engine being rebuilt. And making the silencer a bit quieter because it's bloody loud. It's quite obnoxiously loud when you get on it. So I think that's it for now. There might be a few things I've forgotten that I need to do on this bike. I think I need to repack the silencer. Oh, yeah. And I need to check the seals on these forks. They leaked a while back and I did save them with... Oh, where the hell's my toolkit? Oh, I'll put a picture in of a fork seal saver. I mean, yeah, I did save these with a fork seal saver and they stopped weeping oil. But the oil that came out when I was using the fork seal saver was a bit manky. I've got some extreme fork seals, but they are just, despite the crappy packaging, they are exactly the same ones you get in an all balls set. Ah, there we go. So yeah, these are the same brand as the ones you get in an all balls set. They're dual lipped. I think that's a R23 with a garter spring, so yeah. Not as good as an SKF seal, which I have had and were quite good, but these are a quarter of the price, so yeah, I know what I prefer for price wise anyway. So yep, got some spares, plenty to get on with.